Assalamu alaikum. How are you all? My name is الفلاحي. I'm from Oman and I'm adopted. And today we have one of my brothers, Abdulوهاب.
Hi guys, my name is Abdalوهاب. I'm from Kuwait, born and raised here. And I'm adopted, same as Hiba. She's my older sister.
Yeah. So tell me, Abdulوهاب, how is it? Tell me your story first. Not everybody knows. Nobody knows anything about you. Tell me. Tell them everything that you have.
So I think the best way to start the story is that once upon a time there's a place called Jahla in Kuwait. I was found, as a baby. I don't know if exactly it's a bag or something. I was wrapped in a foil, like in a small towel. I was a baby. And I was put next to a mosque or on the door of the mosque until someone found me. I think he was a journalist. And, called the police, things, just usual stuff. And, I just ended up being in the orphanage. That's where my mom found me. And, it's a wonderful thing that I've, as a person who's adopted, I think it's good to know that you have a history, even though that, most people don't know that they're adopted. I think if you know your complete story, you have a better idea of who you are, how you came from. It's so much easier to introduce yourself to so many people. But that's basically my story.
So how old were you when you were adopted?
I think around a month or two. I was really young. I was found technically like 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. And I was 40 days old when my mom actually adopted me, or somewhere around 40 days old, and born on the 13th of September. It's not really a accurate date, but it's closest to what they calculated apparently.
Okay. And so basically you don't know your real birthday, right?
Not really, no.
Yeah, me too.
It's
exactly
just
how that feels.
Yeah.
So when did you find out that you were adopted?
So I was really young. I was 2 years old, 3 years old, I think. I can understand words, can walk. I don't know if I can talk though. And my mom actually, I don't know exactly the name of the book, but she explained to me how it was related to some sort of adoption, some similar story to adoption. And she told me, Wahab, you're adopted. She said it. She was really directly with it. She was straightforward, transparent. And she was like, Wahab, the same thing like this story says and explains about this guy doing this, and this. Same thing with you. I thought I came from my father's stomach. I told her I thought I came from my father's stomach. So I was like, no, there's something wrong here. But after that, growing up, I learned that adoption is a thing, and I accepted who I am for it because, it doesn't really define me as a person. It's really gives sort of a mysterious, mysterious look to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful.
Do you think it's a part of your identity or not?
I do think so. To a certain extent, it is. I don't think it really defines me as a person, as I said, but it does have something to do with my character.
Yeah.
I think because so many it could be from the type of food you like, it could be to the places you want to go to, it could be the music you hear, it could be the people you like to interact with.
What about behavior?
And behavior as well. Behavior is one of the most important topics we're going to mention later on, inshallah. And it really affects on many factors, the way a human acts as a person.
Do you think you struggled with the idea at the beginning, or was there any struggle when it comes to you being adopted?
Not really.
Or the understanding of it?
Not really, because I understood adoption. Because when you're a child, you're uneducated. So you barely know what things are. The definition of something could be many things. So the way my mom explained it to me, it gave me the idea of adoption as a whole. Because adoption could be, adopting a new skill, could be adopting a cat, so many things. But when I understood the way my mom told it to me, the way my mom phrased it to me, it didn't just tell me that, you're adopted. It strengthened me as a person as well. So it was wonderful. And I accepted it at that moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, it's difficult to process, but I think it's one way that, you just grow up to accept at some point in your life. So that's a really good thing, to be honest.
So you were lucky, basically. You were so lucky that you had a mom that did a perfect job. Thank you, Zena. And you didn't actually struggle with your identity or any of that.
No. I think, identity is something someone could build. They don't really find themselves because, if you sit there for your entire teenage life, you can, what if I'm this? What if I'm that? What if I'm this? What if I'm that? And you just keep on questioning yourself, and it's inexhaustible. You're exhausting your brain by thinking about who you are. Instead, what I've done is I've trained my mind to, find what I like and to build myself from zero, because that's something not only adoptees do. We do very similar things to people who know their real family.
Yeah, exactly.
But we just do it in a different way. So
it's like there's an extra element to
exactly. There's an extra element, and it basically adds up to your character. So I think it's a wonderful thing to know that, when you're adopted, you take the advantage of building yourself, and that way you can represent yourself to the people. Whoever has a question for adoption, whoever, wants to learn about adoption, even for the people who dislike the idea of adoption,
exactly.
you can identify yourself at some point. So it's building yourself from zero is a beautiful way to start, especially at a really young age. Not gonna lie. So that's a way to answer your question, I guess.
Great. So, alhamdulillah, you were brought up in a way where you got these things, and for example, your mom actually helped you navigate with adoption.
Yeah.
But other people weren't as lucky as you are. Have you seen other adoptees that were struggling and you actually could relate, but at the same time you're like, alhamdulillah, like in my situation, it actually happened in the perfect way for me not to even struggle with it.
Many sorts of people. Because, this is what I've learned from these types of people, because I've spoken to them personally. I don't really contact them because they're grown, they live their own lives. But they told me their story, and their story is something I never could forget. I mean, they taught me, especially from their past, is that, the mind understands the reality, but the heart never questions it. So they're two different paradigms, but they connect. What I understood from there and how I can relate to them is their emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Because many people that I know personally, even today, who are not adopted at all, they teach me how to strengthen myself as a person. Their ways actually work. Because the weakness of the mind, especially for an adoptee, who questions himself every single day, who has so many different things to say, you could, wake up in the morning and say, no, this is not who I am. You question yourself every day in the mirror. Who am I? Where did I come from? How did I appear here? It could be, your life could be wonderful. It could be so many things. It could be, you can travel everywhere you want. You could be doing anything, to be honest. It's just the way you apply it. If an adoptee, for example, I've had some communications with someone, he said that, even though I worked on myself ever since I was your age, even a little older, I still had the opportunity to put it in something that could really destroy my life.
Exactly.
Whatever you choose to, like, if you have a certain emotion, you can choose to apply it to the right thing or to the even wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's your choice at the end of the day. So everything about emotional intelligence and about the way the heart works, the way it feels things, about, if someone comes to you and says, oh, who are you? Where are you from? And you shouldn't ask, like, I don't know how to respond to them. So I just say, I just take my mom's name and I just tell them, "Ana asli chidi." So I don't really explain to them like, oh yeah, I'm adopted. Something that I'm scared about sometimes. But as I grew up, I just learned to accept it. So I think many adoptees could relate to me in that way. Many normal people could relate to me that way, because every single time, as long as people are changing, it means that they're learning something new. It just depends on how they apply it.
You said you were scared.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Scared as in, if someone asks me, oh yeah, your father does not look like you, or oh, your mom does not look like you, there must be something wrong. people actually say that, there must be something wrong. They say it straight up to your face. So it's horrible. And
The
I
audacity.
exactly, the audacity is just it's completely like, it's just not nice, to be honest.
The thing is, they don't know, right?
I don't know.
They don't know how to. They don't know that they're actually pressing on a button there.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even know myself. So, because sometimes, like, the question they ask you, you don't know how to answer. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't know. No one knows. So they connect. But one thing that I can tell them is that when someone comes, for example, I'll just give you this scenario. Someone asks me, "Oh, where are you from?" Kuwait. Okay. Shino aslik. I don't know. I don't know what to answer them. I say anything. I just blabber anything. They say, "What is that?" And I say something.
So why not say you're adopted?
Because of the way they react to that fact. Because there are some people in this country, specifically this country, I think even every other country, there are people in America. America is a free country. There
Yeah.
are people in America that do not accept adoption.
Yeah.
So this is one thing that I learned. I said, like, the first time when I told someone I'm adopted and I saw their reaction, I just processed. I was like, okay, this is what he feels like. Then I grew up around this community, this wonderful community my mom built, to understand how adoptees feel and how capable they are. I started to learn things that you shouldn't care what people think about you.
Exactly.
Because as long as you're happy with yourself, if you do something good for yourself and you're doing something good and you know it's good and God is approving of what you do, then people have no right to tell you anything. You don't even need to listen to them, because it's all negativity. If you intercept the negativity and your mind and your heart intersects with it, it's a really bad thing.
What if it wasn't negativity? It was just ignorance.
If it was ignorance, it's the same thing, because ignorance is a form of negativity. It doesn't need to be negativity. It's not directly negative.
But sometimes people say things they don't mean. Yani when you said, "Oh, there must be something wrong," when they say, sometimes it's not that they mean to offend. It's just they just say things without thinking.
Curiosity.
You get it? Yani
Yeah,
they don't
curiosity.
mean it.
They don't mean it. Yeah.
Yeah, but for us, because we're adopted, we can take it in some type of way.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
is why, us adoptees have a tendency to take things. We can take it more sensitively than anyone else, because if
Yeah.
I say that to a person who knows his family, who knows his history, he can easily answer. He's, okay, something is wrong, but I look like my uncle. I don't look like anyone. Neither my uncles or aunts, my grandma, my grandfather, I don't look like any of them, even my cousins. So I do understand some things in a negative way, but I also look at their intention. I study their intention by actions, because when they talk to someone, I'll see how they act. Do they act differently with me, or do they act differently with a normal person? I just see the way they live, how they talk, just their communication with other people. And I just study it in my mind. I just look at it and I say, okay, he speaks to this guy in another way than he speaks to me. So I might be different than this guy. Why? Because he knows that I'm adopted. So it's kind of obvious.
It's the same with me.
Every single answer when it comes to someone trying to mention my parents in an argument, it's always because I'm adopted. Do I care? No. He's the one mentioning it. So I don't think there's something wrong about people knowing that I'm adopted. I think it's wonderful. It's just sometimes you're very hesitant to tell that person, because you don't know if they're trustworthy. So I mean, the more you grow, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you can understand people, and just study them.
Our goal is to raise awareness about adoption, and inshallah, hopefully one day, when we say adoption, it's going to be something normal. Nobody's going to look at you differently.
It is normal.
Right.
It's just the way people view it. People have a very crazy misconception of how adoption works and what it is. And it could be many things. It could be either you've been, so many things. I don't know if I can say fornication. It could be one thing. People say, "Oh, la, he's adopted." He was born from, الولد, like by fornication. هذا ولد.
Yeah.
ما شنو. I don't really. I don't really know if people really understand it. I get why they are,
And it's also about the blood. You don't have
and the blood that you don't
Yeah,
exactly.
you
So
get it.
so it could be many things, but I say the people who don't like the idea of it are just miseducated. They're misinformed about the entire situation. They don't know the concept. They're misinformed. They're uneducated about the entire thing. So it's a way to also educate people about adoption.
So today, if somebody asks you these questions, would you actually say that you're adopted?
I have no problem,
Yeah.
because if I tell them that it's a lie, one way or another they're gonna find out. One way or one way or another, I'm just gonna open up to them.
Yeah.
There are some people that know I'm adopted because they're either family or they're friends that I grew up with. Not really entirely grew up with, just people that I used to know
Yeah.
and that I still, trust.
Yes.
So it can rely on many things.
Okay, so you grew up in a very loving family and you have an amazing mother, mashallah, and you also have sisters, and all of you guys are adopted. So you have the most beautiful environment, mashallah, mashallah, alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
So my question is, how do you feel about your biological parents, for example, mother or father?
It's a mix of emotions. Very confusing. It's a mix of emotions that just flood your mind out of nowhere. Sometimes when I see things, I don't know what exactly, it just reminds me of my parents, my family. I listen to music. There's just something in me that turns on. It's like a switch.
Yeah.
It's just, I like this. It's the first time I hear it, but I like it a lot. So I say, what if it's about the genes?
Yeah.
What if it's included in my genetics? So I just think about so many things and I say, look, I tell myself, look, this either is something that has to do with your weird taste as a person or something that has to do with your genetics.
Yeah.
So it could be many things. But how I feel about them is sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's happiness, sometimes it's love. But for now, alhamdulillah, it's all about love and appreciation, because I think they've tried their best to think about some way, some solution
To keep you, right?
to keep me. Yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes God doesn't give you things just so he can see how you act.
Yeah.
That certain situation itself. So I think it's a wonderful thing. They've tried their best, and as long as they've tried their best, alhamdulillah, I can't complain.
So I just want to clarify to everybody, how old are you?
I'm 15.
Amazing. I love it. And for us adoptees, we always go through stages. It's not gonna be like very linear,
Yeah.
just like normal people. We're gonna go through stages. We're always gonna figure out things about our adoption, right? It's a journey. It's
It
a
is a
beautiful,
journey.
special journey.
It is a journey, to be honest. It is really a beautiful journey. It's something that it's a journey that you can learn many things about. It's a journey that, between an adoptee and an average human being, you can learn things about the way people work and how they are than a
Yeah.
different person, like a person who knows their family. You can understand people in such a deeper perspective, because when you see it, when you're exposed to so much feelings and so much emotions and so much energy that people give, you receive it differently than the average person, because the average person knows things. I live life this way, and he can have his own way of living life. But you, as an adoptee, no, you built that thing entirely. So you have to be proud of yourself. Anyone who's adopted, I just want to say this: anyone who's adopted, who's watching this, build yourself from zero. Never let anyone question you. You have an entire lifetime ahead of you. And there are so many people, no matter how difficult your situation is, there are so many people that give up on themselves easier than anything. There are people who sell themselves out like this, with a snap of my fingers. So build yourself from zero. Never, ever doubt yourself, no matter what happens. It's all tests from God at the end of the day. And you just have to have so much faith, because if you don't have so much faith to save yourself, no one is going to come and save you. No one's going to come and save you and feel like, oh, no one's going to care. You have to build yourself. And you have my faith. I know what it feels like. I might not have been through the same things that you have. It's not the same intensity, but I understand. To a certain extent, I understand because I learn. Because I'm human. Same as you. Same as Hiba. Same as everyone here. So it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and you've been given the tools to navigate it, which is amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
But other people are, I'm not going to say unfortunate, but they weren't lucky enough to have that.
Exactly.
Okay, so why do you think people cannot navigate it? What do you think is the reason navigate through this adoption and would go through so much hell?
Because they find excuses to be upset.
How can you say it's an excuse? Because adoption is a huge thing.
It is a huge thing. But an excuse to be upset, let's say you're having a normal day. You wake up, you go to school, stuff like that. You have a bad day at school. Oh yeah, but my mom, this, that, and the other. Suddenly weird emotions come flood in your mind. You feel so many things, you think so many things. Could be normal things, could be crazy things that you couldn't even say in public. And it can be things that are, personal, things that you think you get used to at some point of time. The reason why I'd say they find an excuse to be upset is because they think about other people, and when I say other people, their family or their parents.
Yeah.
They take their mistake and they blame it on themselves. Why do you do that?
Okay.
It's not your mistake. I might have phrased that incorrectly.
Yeah.
I did. So
okay.
I might have phrased that incorrectly, but it's not their mistake to. It's like your parents are the one who chose to do X, Y, and Z. You are just the outcome of that thing.
Exactly.
You get it? So it's
not
their fault.
Why are you punishing yourself for it?
Why are you punishing yourself on
Yes.
from other people's mistake? It's not your fault. You have done nothing wrong. You're just living your life, not with your parents.
And most probably Allah put you in this place because it's even better for you than being wherever you were with your biological parents,
Exactly.
Okay, so you go to school, right? And you know a lot of adoptees. صح?
In school, no. I only know, I think, one person. But other than that, I communicate with people internationally who are adopted. Either it's me personally, I went to them and I asked them about it. I firstly introduce myself. I tell them that I'm adopted because we're similar. Share very, really, really many similarities. And that's a really good approach to, talk to people, to connect, to have a wonderful network. And it's all about networking and,
Do you feel the connection?
I feel the connection.
With everybody who's
really
adopted and also from Dar, people who are in the orphanage?
Yes.
Yeah, you can feel it?
I feel that connection stronger than anything.
Me too, honestly.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So, were you bullied for being adopted?
Bullied, no. But I'd say I've been
discriminated
in some sort of way.
Yeah.
But I don't take that discrimination seriously.
Because it's what people do in their actions, right?
It's what people, if they justify their feelings in this type of way, it shouldn't bother me. It's gonna bother them in the future. Because if I say, oh, you're adopted, at least I know my real mom, blah, blah, blah. You're literally exposing yourself in front of many people. And you're showing them what type of person you are. So if I treat them with respect, just let's say, I wouldn't say with the best treatment ever, just with decent human morals.
Yeah.
If they treat me the opposite of respect,
yeah,
that is a big issue. Not for me.
For them.
For them.
Exactly.
Because it really exposes the type of environment they've grown up in, fortunately.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Another one. I have so many questions for you. One of them is, for example, today your biological mom comes. What will be your reaction? How will you treat her? What will you say?
I think I'm going to be very happy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be very happy. Because I don't remember when you said it. I heard you say something that it's impossible for a mom to carry a baby in her
Yeah.
stomach for 9 months and just completely forget about her
Exactly.
or him. And this is what I'd feel. I'd feel happy. I'd feel comfortable with her for some reason, because you're connected genetically by blood. You
Exactly.
are connected, so you'd understand, that you relate to her and you're similar to her in some sort of way. It could be physically, mentally, psychologically. It could be many things. So I'd be happy. My heart would be racing, that's for sure. But I'd be treating her with love. I'm gonna hug her first of all, and I'm gonna welcome her into my house, and I'll, أعرفها على my family right now. So I think I'll treat her really, really well. I'd look after her.
I think for us, we're more connected to our mothers than our fathers, right? Do you think of the father?
I do think of the father.
Yeah, a lot? More than the mother?
Yes.
Oh,
Some sort
okay.
of way.
For me, I think of the mother more than the father.
I mean, it depends. Some people have a soft spot for their mothers. Some people have a soft spot for their fathers. Just depends on what type of environment you grew up in.
Maybe.
I grew up with my mom a lot. She's 100% of, what I have a soft spot for my mom right now. So I feel I feel like I love her a lot. But for the real father, it's so much more, because you think, Anna, personally, for me, I think, how do I relate to him? How am I like this guy? Who is he? Like, what does he look like? How
Yeah.
tall is he? What does he smell like? That's what I think. What does he wear? It could be many things. So it's something that I always, he's something always I think about. But
Okay.
I know for a fact, if he saw me in the streets, if we walked by each other, he wouldn't know who I am. But I think at some point in the future, when you realize, or if you meet your father or your mom, you're going to feel a connection that is a gift. It's like a gift only given once. It's like birth and death. That's it.
So today we're doing this interview, right? And what is your goal and purpose from today's interview? Why are we
educate
doing this?
To educate people, simply.
Why do you think they need education? And which people are you talking about? Are you talking about people like us, our brothers and sisters, the adoptees, and people from the orphanage that we know and don't know? Or are you talking about who exactly are you? I know you mean all of them, but in what way for all of them, if you don't mind elaborating?
In what way do you mean? In a feeling? What do you want? What do I
You're
want them-
educating people. That's why spread awareness, right? So what do you want to educate, for example, our brothers and sisters who are adopted and who are from the orphanage? What do you want to say to them?
I want them to know that their voices are never suppressed. They're always heard. No matter where you go, they're not gonna be there are gonna be many places you're not gonna fit in, which is normal. It's just if they accept that, if they learn how to accept it, if they teach themselves, they build themselves, from 0 to 100 the same way I'm trying to do, then I think they're gonna end up somewhere. Because if they don't fit in a community, they can build their own. That's a wonderful thing. And as long as, I know there's some person who could be in a worse situation than anyone right now that I know. And my message to that person is that at the end of the day, no matter what you do, no matter if you hurt yourself, if you physically hurt yourself, if you mentally hurt yourself, if you emotionally hurt yourself, all that feeling, every single fiber of your being, all these feelings could be put into something better than what you're doing right now by a lot. Because the difference between putting your mind into something and putting your emotion into something are two different things. Same way I said. The mind understands the reality, the heart never questions it. So if he puts his mind into something and he achieves it with the good intention to fix his own problems, then he's not going to find other people. He's never even going to depend on other people to solve his issues, because his issues, he's the only person who can solve them.
His
With the
issues
help of
are
God.
from within.
From within. It's not from without.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's I think as long as he or she uses his mind, and he really feels like he feels these emotions intensely, just he puts them in something so good, he's gonna be the most unbeatable person ever.
Basically turn it into passion.
Passion. It could be passion, it could be love, it could be wonderful things.
But somebody's going to ask you, how can I do that? How?
How can
Like,
you
not
do that?
everybody is blessed to have the right tools to navigate their emotions.
Exactly. This is why I'd say start with understanding your emotions by writing them down.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'd say. Just write them down. First day you might feel good. Second day you might feel bad. Just remember, one day you felt good. Just because you had a really bad day does not mean you had a bad life.
Exactly.
It's something
Right.
that people should know, people should understand. So when they see that they have good days, they're going to realize that, okay, so their sadness is perpetually going to go down. And when they see that, I'm putting myself, if I have a passion for something, I have a passion for airplanes.
Mm.
All I do, to be honest, what makes me happy, what puts a smile on my face, what makes me really, fond of what I do is just flying a plane on the computer. I just download a game, sit for 12 hours, and I'm enjoying every single second of it. It's wonderful. So they should find something that they love doing, and they should replace it with something that they're doing to hurt themselves, because they might not feel that they're hurting themselves, but that's exactly what they're doing. So I'd say quit the bad habits a little by little. Educate yourself, read books, watch podcasts.
Exactly.
Just better yourself every single day, because no one's gonna change overnight for the better.
It's a process.
It's a really long process. It could take your entire teenage years, but as long as you commit to that sacrifice, I think that's gonna benefit you for the long term.
That's amazing. Okay, so now, what about like we spoke about the fact that you want to spread awareness, right? What about towards the community, for example? What awareness do you want them to have?
Is that people like us exist?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you from now, there are so many people similar to us
Mm-hmm.
who are adopted, who might lost a father, might lost a mother.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many differences, but it's basically the only reason why I want to, just give them this image of, adoption is something, and we constantly give them. I wouldn't say an idea. I'd just say a reminder that we exist, is because sometimes if people like us need help, they're not gonna go get help, because it's hard for them to say that, oh, I'm adopted, I lost this, that, and the other. It's hard. It's difficult. It's something that I wouldn't say difficult to try, saying oh no, I'm adopted, but if they're adopted, they should know that people like us exist, and they should know that people like us need help, because we cannot live in an environment that despises us just because we had a history.
Or we don't have history.
Or we don't have history.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to phrase it, because I'm having this episode where so many thoughts and emotions are it's like a wave.
It's overwhelming, right?
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I'd say they need to be aware is because we exist. We're regular human beings.
We didn't do
And
anything wrong.
We didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is in our hands. It's all in the hands of God. And if you want to blame me for a mistake I haven't done, you're free. But just think about how it affects us.
Mm-hmm.
Just have a little
Compassion.
Respect.
Yeah.
Because we're the same. We're all creatures of God.
Exactly. We just woke up suddenly and voila,
Exactly.
this is my mom, this is my dad, but who gave birth to me? I don't look like them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a very simple. It's a very simple message. Just we exist. We have feelings. We have emotions. Like I'm not an alien compared to you. We're the same. So
Yeah.
I guess we're just portraying a message for the people who are unaware.
And I think they should educate themselves more. They should know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and they should also be kinder to everybody else, including us.
Including themselves, first of all.
Exactly.
Because if they cannot help themselves within the inside, same way you say it, if they can't build themselves on the inside, things are not going to change.
Exactly.
Either get worse or they either get better. It's all about the intention. That's a beautiful thing. I think it's wonderful for people to understand their meaning and their purpose of life. People like us, people like the ones who know their real parents, learn every day and try to make something out of your time, because some point in time, it's all gonna go away. It's all gonna go away.
So today we spoke to Abdulwahab and we understood how adoption is in his eyes. And adoption is not the same with everybody who's adopted. Everybody looks at it in a different way. Everybody has been brought up in a different way. Everybody deals with it in a different way. Alhamdulillah, Abdulwahab he was blessed and he has a beautiful family that helps him navigate it. And if he ever has issues, he has people to talk to. But not a lot of people do. And this is one of the reasons why we're doing this, because we want our brothers and sisters who are in orphanage or who are adopted to at least reach out and, understand that we actually get it. And there are a lot of people who are struggling with this. So if you don't have anybody to talk to, there's us, there's Mama Zaina, there's all of your siblings here, and we're here for you. There's a whole community. And for the community, it's time to learn more. It's time to know more, because sometimes you might say something wrong that can affect a person in a different way, but you can never understand the impact that it can have on a person, especially if they're dealing with this internally. And our struggle is always internally, and then the society sometimes does not help us with it. We need to come out of it ourselves, but sometimes we would need a little bit of help instead of more of suppression or any ugly impact from the society, So we would like to say thank you and hope you heard us today. And Abdulwahab, you want to say goodbye to them?
I'll just say thank you very much for, hearing everything, and I hope you understood something new. Hope you learned something new. And for anyone who's adopted, for anyone who has, who's going through something tough, if you did a change in your life and it works for you, don't be stupid enough to question yourself ever again. The impossible was created to be possible. So be strong and go with the flow, I'd say. Try to learn things from yourself and things from other people. Take criticism, take advice, seek help. It's something good, and it's going to benefit you. And that's it. If you really want to say anything, go ahead. And I don't really have anything. I ran out of words.